Designing a tiny house courtyard is an opportunity to create a space that feels intimate, serene, and connected to the past. In 2025, the charm of vintage elements combined with rustic touches brings a timeless appeal to outdoor spaces. Picture this, a courtyard that feels like a quiet retreat from the world, where vintage-inspired features meet the beauty of natural greenery. It's a place where nostalgia thrives, but with a fresh, modern approach, making it an ideal setting for your tiny house to thrive. Let's explore how to design this magical courtyard step by step. Vintage design isn't just about old furniture, it's about capturing the essence of a bygone era. A vintage-inspired tiny house courtyard can be filled with carefully chosen elements, like weathered wood, faded stone, and antiques that evoke the charm of simpler times. When combined with nature, these elements tell a story of endurance and beauty. Incorporating these timeless materials into the courtyard ensures the space has a sense of history and character, offering an inviting escape from the fast pace of modern life. Rustic style works wonders in small spaces because it emphasizes natural materials and simplicity. In a tiny house courtyard, rustic elements can include wooden benches, stone pathways, or distressed iron gates. The beauty of rustic design lies in its ability to make small areas feel cozy yet full of personality. Adding vintage touches, like a weathered garden cart or a wicker chair, creates an inviting environment, where each corner is filled with character and charm. Every small feature in this space adds to the overall feeling of warmth and timelessness. No courtyard would be complete without greenery. The key to a vintage-inspired rustic space is planting greenery that stands the test of time. Opt for perennial plants, ivy, ferns, and climbing roses, plants that don't just bloom and fade but provide lasting beauty through every season. Incorporating plants like lavender or hydrangeas, which have an old-world charm, is also an excellent way to add to the vintage vibe. The timelessness of these plants complements the rustic elements, offering both beauty and continuity year after year. Antique garden accessories can be used to enhance the rustic and vintage feel of the courtyard. Consider adding elements like cast iron planters, vintage watering cans, or a distressed stone bird bath. These pieces bring a unique character to the space, and their weathered appearance helps tell a story of the past. By carefully choosing vintage accessories that are both functional and decorative, you create a space that feels rich in history yet still practical for everyday use. A combination of old and new accessories is a hallmark of vintage design. Furniture is one of the most impactful ways to introduce vintage elements into your tiny house courtyard. Opt for pieces made from natural wood, wrought iron, or repurposed materials. A vintage-inspired rocking chair, a distressed wooden bench, or a set of iron bistro chairs all add charm and comfort to the space. Choosing furniture with history not only makes the courtyard feel more personal but also creates a cozy retreat where you can relax and enjoy the beauty of the surrounding greenery. Comfort and style go hand in hand in this vintage-inspired sanctuary. Lighting plays a critical role in setting the mood of your vintage-inspired courtyard. String lights, antique lanterns, or old-fashioned sconces add a soft, warm glow that complements the rustic charm. These lighting elements evoke feelings of nostalgia and create an inviting atmosphere. As dusk settles in, the courtyard transforms into a magical space, where the flicker of lights enhances the beauty of your timeless greenery and vintage accessories. Lighting is an essential tool in bringing your vision of a vintage courtyard to life, making it feel both enchanting and timeless. A charming pathway is a key feature in any vintage-inspired rustic courtyard. Incorporating stone or gravel as the primary material adds a sense of history and rugged beauty to the space. Cobblestones or irregularly shaped flagstones create a winding, organic path, leading visitors through the space and inviting them to explore every corner. The tactile feel of stone beneath your feet adds to the experience, while its weathered appearance blends seamlessly with the surrounding greenery. When it comes to vintage design, the beauty of worn wood and patinaed metal cannot be overlooked. A wooden gate with peeling paint, a wrought iron trellis covered in climbing roses, or a vintage metal garden chair all add layers of history to your tiny house courtyard. These materials tell a story of age and use, bringing character to every corner of your space. A vintage-inspired courtyard is about more than just the overall design, it's also about the smaller, intimate vignettes within the space. Create little moments of interest by grouping together vintage finds, such as an old wooden crate filled with flowers or a small antique table with a pair of rocking chairs. These vignettes evoke a sense of nostalgia, as if they were scenes from an old photograph. Adding the sound of nature can further enhance the vintage ambience of your courtyard. A vintage-inspired wind chime made of brass or wood can create a peaceful, melodic atmosphere as the wind rustles through the trees. Consider placing a small water feature, like a bird bath or a gently bubbling stone fountain, to add the soothing sound of water. These auditory elements blend seamlessly with the visual beauty of the space, creating a sensory experience that transports you to another time and place. One of the hallmarks of a well-designed courtyard is year-round interest, and planting the right mix of foliage is crucial. To maintain the vintage-inspired feel, opt for plants that change with the seasons, like evergreens that retain their foliage during winter or deciduous trees that provide vibrant color in the fall. Ferns, ivy, and creeping thyme are excellent for their ability to thrive year-round and provide lush greenery in every season. Vintage-inspired design is deeply personal, and one way to truly make your courtyard your own is by incorporating family heirlooms or keepsakes. A vintage tea set passed down through generations, a hand-carved wooden bench from a family member, or an old trunk filled with memories can all add sentimental value to the space. These personal touches bring warmth and individuality to your courtyard, making it more than just a design, it becomes a reflection of your story and history. Mixing the past with the present creates a deeper connection to the space. The courtyard of a tiny house should feel inviting and intimate, and creating cozy seating areas is key to achieving this. Consider designing small nooks with weathered armchairs or a vintage-style hammock, draped in soft cushions or throws. These corners should feel like private retreats, where you can sit with a book or sip your morning coffee while enjoying the surrounding greenery. The goal is to create a space that feels like it was made just for you, allowing you to relax and soak in the tranquility of your surroundings. Incorporating indoor elements into your courtyard design can blur the line between inside and outside. Vintage-inspired textiles, such as an antique rug or lace curtains, can be brought outside to create a more comfortable and inviting space. A repurposed wooden table that once belonged inside your home can become the perfect centerpiece for your outdoor meals. The colors you choose for your courtyard play a significant role in creating a vintage-inspired aesthetic. Earthy tones like olive green, burnt sienna, and soft cream work well with rustic elements and timeless greenery. Incorporate these colors into furniture cushions, planters, or outdoor fabrics. The beauty of earthy hues is their ability to complement the natural surroundings, creating a warm, grounded feeling that evokes nostalgia. These shades bring the natural world into the design, reinforcing the vintage and rustic theme of the courtyard. Vintage-inspired architecture is an excellent way to add charm and history to your tiny house courtyard. Look for architectural elements that evoke the past, such as wrought iron gates, stone arches, or weathered wooden doors. These features provide a sense of grandeur and character to even the smallest of courtyards. Whether you're using reclaimed materials or finding vintage pieces from antique shops, these architectural elements bring a rich layer of history and timeless elegance to your outdoor space. Outdoor dining in a vintage-inspired courtyard can feel like stepping into a different era. Choose a table with a weathered wooden top or an iron table with intricate detailing. Pair it with mismatched chairs, a classic wicker set, or vintage folding chairs for added charm. Accessorize with antique tableware, like mismatched plates or vintage silverware, to complete the look. Every courtyard needs a focal point, and in a vintage-inspired design, this can be anything from a weathered fountain to a sculptural piece of art. Consider placing a vintage birdbath at the center of the courtyard, surrounded by lush greenery and rustic seating areas. A large urn or a vintage-style outdoor clock could also work well as a focal point. This element will draw attention and become a central gathering spot, giving the courtyard a sense of structure while enhancing the vintage vibe. Pergolas and trellises are a perfect addition to a vintage-inspired rustic courtyard. These architectural features provide vertical interest while allowing climbing plants like roses, jasmine, or ivy to flourish. A wooden pergola with weathered beams can provide shade and a sense of intimacy, while a wrought iron trellis offers an old-world charm. These elements create an elegant frame for your courtyard, drawing the eye upwards and adding depth to the design. Upcycling and repurposing vintage items is a sustainable way to add character to your courtyard. Old wooden crates can be turned into planters, while a vintage ladder can serve as a plant stand or decorative display. By reimagining everyday objects in new ways, you not only contribute to the eco-friendly nature of the courtyard but also give new life to items that carry their own history. Each upcycled item brings a unique touch of nostalgia and creativity to your space. Designing a vintage-inspired rustic tiny house courtyard is about more than just what you see. It's about creating a multi-sensory experience. The feel of cool stone underfoot, the scent of fresh lavender, the sound of wind chimes, and the sight of lush greenery all combine to create a space that engages your senses on every level. The beauty of vintage-inspired design lies in its ability to evoke memories and emotions while remaining fresh and relevant. In 2025, blending rustic charm with timeless greenery creates a space that feels eternal, yet personal. Every element in the courtyard, whether it's the distressed wood or the ivy-covered trellis, contributes to a sense of history and nostalgia. In the end, designing a vintage-inspired rustic tiny house courtyard is about more than just aesthetics. It's about creating a sanctuary where you can retreat and reflect. With every carefully chosen plant, every vintage accessory, and every rustic detail, you craft a space that connects you to the past while embracing the present. This courtyard becomes your personal oasis, filled with timeless beauty and tranquility.